Hi guys, we are here to do another pick a card reading for what is coming your guys' way. I do want to apologize in advance. I have been in the process of moving and I haven't been able to find my mic yet, so the sound quality is not going to be the best, but hey, it is what it is. So we have 3 piles for you guys to choose from today. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. The timestamps will be listed down below in the description box. If you guys need a second longer to pick, go right ahead and pause the video. All right, those of you guys that chose pile number 1, this key, or this tarot deck, this is going to be your guys' reading. And if you guys see the lights changing and shifting, the lights are just flickering in my house. So let's kind of just see here for you guys what is coming into your guys' life. So bear with me for one moment while I shuffle the cards. If any of you guys are interested, check out my friend's shop, Light Minded. She has a whole new fall selection of candles, bath bombs, and soaps that are now currently available. All is made from handmade with love and care, as well as high quality ingredients. I highly recommend her products, you guys. They are wonderful, so check them out. The link will be listed down below in the description box. Thank you. All right, pile number 1. What changes are coming into your guys' life? So pile number 1, already what I'm picking up for you guys is a lot of different things that have kind of been stressing you guys out. So pile number 1, I feel like you guys have gone through a very stressful couple of weeks to a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years, right? But there's definitely something here about being afraid to take a leap of faith somewhere, being afraid to make a certain necessary change. So there's something, pile number 1, that you guys are holding on to, and it feels like something that you felt like has been over, it's done, it's not coming back. So there's almost as if you feel like you could have potentially missed an opportunity or something that you felt like could have been important in your life. And it's almost as though you guys feel like you've missed out on this opportunity, and I think that this could have, and I almost get the feeling that it could have been love, or it could have been some kind of partnership or friendship, but there feels like there's been some kind of missed opportunity here. But what you're not seeing, pile number 1, is that you guys did not miss any opportunity. What's meant for you guys is actually going to come to you. I feel like a lot of you guys have done a lot of good deeds for people, especially in the past. And I think that for a lot of you, it's starting to kind of work in your favor. So whether somebody is going to help you now because you helped them in the past, or say you helped so many people and now you have new people coming in, I just get this feeling, pile number 1, that you feel like you don't have very many opportunities or options, but that's going to be changing for you guys very soon. I literally have goosebumps as I am saying. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have goosebumps. I feel like pile number 1, again guys, sorry, mind the lights. It's just, I think they're dying. I gotta replace them, but oh well. But I just get the feeling that you guys are no longer going to be dwelling on things that did not work out for you. Maybe in the past, you guys have really been fixated on something that you, again, felt like you've lost, or you felt like you just weren't able to get a certain opportunity. And now it's starting to kind of come in. Things are going to start shifting and changing for you. And I'm really starting to see that that's something that's going to kind of come in at a time where you least expect it. So pile number 1, what I'm getting here is what's coming into your guys' life. At the bottom of the deck here, we have passion, and then we have the 5th house. Again, passion. So some of you guys what I'm sensing is maybe you've lost a sense of passion, or you've lost a sense of drive to maybe go after something you want or something you need. But it feels like some of you guys, what's going to be coming in for you that's going to be unexpected is that you're going to find this sense of passion again, or this sense of drive. I get the feeling, pile number one, that maybe you guys have been all business and not really having fun, not really enjoying yourself. There's definitely something about maybe being too strict on yourself or too hard on yourself. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is what's going to be changing. This is what's going to be elevating you, is that you guys are going to find more reasons to laugh, more reasons to have a good time. And pile number one, if somebody invites you out somewhere or wants you to go do something with them, do not hesitate in saying no. Go for it. Go out and have fun. Because I get the feeling that some of you guys, you're due for having fun. You're due for having something that's going to bring you some form of happiness. I do feel like for a lot of you guys, you've struggled with love, or you struggled with connections with people. And I think that that is what's going to be surprising you, is the change of your relationships. So say, for instance, if you have a partner right now, maybe you and your partner have been fighting a lot. Well, now pretty soon things are going to start kind of lightening up. Things are not going to be as so serious. You guys aren't going to be fighting as much. I get this sense of lightheartedness coming into your guys' life. That's going to be the change. If you guys are viewing this while I'm posting, you're going to realize, like with the eclipse, we had that solar eclipse in Scorpio. That kind of forced a lot of people to release a lot of anger, or a lot of resentment, or a lot of the shadow self. And I feel like pile number one, a lot of you guys, you maybe have worked through some kind of shadow aspect in your life that caused you guys to maybe have issues with your romance or your love department. If you guys are single, I get the feeling that maybe you've been single for a while, or that you just haven't found anybody that's truly piqued your interest. And I feel like that is something that's going to be changing for you guys, because you guys are actually letting go of some kind of, and I feel like it is resentment in some area of your life, whether this was due to your parents or friends or an ex. There's something here that I think you guys are finally starting to let go of. And again, it's something about a missed opportunity in the past that maybe you really had a hard time holding, like letting go of. And now that you're releasing it, it's almost like everything is starting to kind of come into play here. Everything is starting to kind of come into balance. With that empowerment, with the conjunction, you guys, there is going to be some kind of enthusiasm, some kind of happiness coming in that's going to lighten the mood. I feel like a lot of you guys have been in this struggle mode, where you guys have always been consistently struggling, or working too hard, or putting yourself into situations that you felt like maybe were not the best for you. But it's almost like you guys have learned from these challenges and aspects in your life that really forced you guys to almost heal and let go of things. And because of that, new things are coming in. You guys are going to start feeling this sense of overwhelm, letting go. Because I get this feeling, pile number one, that maybe you guys have been a little overwhelmed, or that you've been a little too hard on yourself, or even maybe hard on others around you as well. And it just seems like everything around you guys is going to start lightening up. Things are going to start flowing in a little easier for you guys. And you're not going to feel so stuck. You're not going to feel so angry or so anxious, or it's almost like there's some kind of emotional release that you are experiencing at this time. It doesn't matter when you tune into this video, because it is a timeless video, but it just feels like you guys are going to really start to see the changes that are kind of coming in for you, and what is happening and manifesting in your life. It's almost like you guys are starting to shift out of that into something brand new, and it's really going to serve you in the long run. So we have here as well, we have the base chakra, the root, we have communication, and then we have sexuality. So like I was saying, you guys, I feel like maybe your love life And again, even with the fifth house, right? Fifth house can be all about having fun, casual sex. It can just be about being playful, having a good time. There's something here about it's been like a long overdue, right? This situation, or however you guys have been experiencing life, it feels very congested and very constricted in your life. And I feel like what was happening is you guys were on this survival cycle that I almost get the feeling of like almost fight. Like maybe you needed to defend yourself. Maybe you needed to protect yourself, right? And as time started to move on, it's almost like you guys came to that realization like, okay, I don't need to put up a defense here. I don't need to do this. It's almost like you're just, again, there is something in your energetic field, pile number one, where you guys are starting to loosen up and relax, which is going to really improve your guys' life. It's going to be improving the way that you come across to people, the way that you interact with people. Your communication and your self-expression is going to be a lot kinder, a lot nicer. You're going to notice people are going to be speaking kinder to you. It's almost like your relationships around you are going to be elevating and improving. And it's only because it's almost like there's something about your guys' sexuality that is being tapped into now. Again, remember with that passion at the bottom of the deck, there's something that's going to be sparking and reigniting this joy, this fun, this enthusiasm that you guys felt like you were lacking in your life. And I feel like you guys are going to start taking action towards things that will make you feel a lot better. So it's almost like what is coming into your guys' life is new opportunities to have fun, new opportunities to grow in partnerships with whether this is a current relationship that you're still in, or maybe you're single and it's almost like you just run into somebody that just clicks and it makes sense. And it's like everything, it's almost like pile number one, if I could describe this pile, it's almost like you guys are on top of the moon. It's almost like there are going to be blessings, there's going to be little things that come into your guys' life that's going to really help amplify your mood. It's going to really make you feel so good. And then when you walk out the front door, because you're feeling so happy, you're feeling so enthusiastic, it's almost like every opportunity and every resource is going to be coming at your door because you're resonating at a higher frequency, because it's almost like you're let go of shame. There's like letting go of shame or resentment. And I don't know if you did this consciously or subconsciously, or if just little things came up in your life that you had to deal with that kind of, again, it's almost like there was a roadblock in your life, pile number one, that's being released, it's being loosened, and it's almost as though all of a sudden everything starts to make sense to you, or you're going to get little epiphanies about why certain relationships happened, why you maybe missed out on this past opportunity. It's almost like something that appeared negative was actually a very positive thing for you guys. So we have here mountain, major challenge to overcome. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you've had major challenges that you had to overcome, and that was something that is now being released. That's something that's being let go of, and I'm really feeling that on a deep level for you guys. So we have here as well gavel, involvement with the law. So maybe some of you guys, maybe you had to go through a divorce or some kind of court settlement. There's something here maybe, or even again with that judgment card, maybe in the past, pile number one, you guys were wrongly accused, or people would always misinterpret you, because sometimes we have people in our life, pile number one, that purposefully tries to misunderstand you. They want to misunderstand you. And it's not because necessarily they're bad people, but maybe they're just not meant to be in your life. And I feel like for some of you guys with that involvement in the law, I'm almost getting maybe that it's not even necessarily a law, like maybe dealing with court or anything actual legal. One of the things that I'm picking up on an intuitive level with that gavel is being misunderstood, being judged, maybe perhaps by how you express yourself, right? Maybe the way that you communicate. Maybe your sexuality was a huge hindrance in your life, and now it's starting to clear itself out. For others of you guys, this is an actual thing where you had to deal with the law, and it's almost like that is going to be such a huge burden off of your shoulders, because there was major challenges when it came to either a court case or a lawsuit or something where you had to have some kind of settlement. And I feel like now things are going to start picking up for you, and it's not going to be so heavy, it's not going to be so hard, and things might, and I get the feeling that things are going to start rolling in your favor if you do deal with a court case, but it's not going to be as devastating or as difficult as you may have once thought it would be. So it's almost like that's kind of it's like things are kind of just releasing out of your life, like all this negativity. And again, we're always going to have negative and positive, but I feel like whatever is like the immediate threat, or whatever it is that we are focused on at the moment, it's almost like things are going to start resolving its own self. Sometimes we don't actually need to change anything, right? Sometimes it will change itself, or it will work out on its own. And it's like when that happens, it's just this huge burden off of your shoulders, this big release. And I just feel, pile number one, that you guys, I almost want to give you guys a hug, because I feel like you guys have gone through a lot. And it's almost like now things are going to start lightening up for you, and things are going to start being a little easier for you to handle. And your day-to-day life is not going to be such a like sluggish drag to just get through the day. So we have here Shark. Take care, or there will be a loss of material wealth. And I feel like that is something too, especially with that, if you guys are dealing with a court case, maybe you guys had to lose money, or there's just something about, you know, maybe in the past too. And this is kind of what I'm getting. This feels more like past energy than it does in the current. Maybe you guys did lose like material gain. Maybe you guys did lose money on an investment, or in a court case, or in a situation. But it's almost like whatever you've lost, pile number one, whatever opportunity or whatever it is that you feel you've lost in the past, it is almost like it's coming back to you threefold. It's almost like it's coming back to you in a better package. It's almost like you wanted a gift, right? Like let's say we saw this pretty box, right? And it's like wrapped really beautifully and it looks really good, and you want the gift. You want this present. You don't know what's inside of it, but you want it. And then you see a thing that's just like a cardboard box, and you're like, it doesn't look as fancy, doesn't look as good. And you want the thing that's in this pretty packaging, but what was in the pretty packaging was worth less than what was in the cardboard box. You know what I mean? So it's almost like maybe for some of you guys, looks are very deceiving, whether this is by a person that maybe they look good, but they're not that great on the inside. Or maybe, again, you were fooled by a situation. It appeared good, but then it really wasn't. There's something here, pile number one, where it's like maybe looks were a little deceiving, but it's almost like what's coming back to you, it's going to be better than what you've lost. So we have here bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. And this is what I'm saying. It's almost like things are going to just start resolving itself. Things are going to start clearing out for you guys. And for every one of you, whatever these is, it's going to be different for everybody, right? We all are on our own unique journey, our own unique path. So whatever challenges you're facing, for some of you guys, this is like mental health, right? You know, it's been a struggle for maybe with depression or anxiety, and it's like getting over that, or at least managing it to the point where now you can do more with your life, right? There's something here, again, pile number one, that's gonna feel like a huge relief, a huge burden taken off of your shoulders. So we also have here discord among friends or family, and I feel like that could have been another issue. Remember what I said, I feel like you guys were dealing with people that were misinterpreting you, or were not really listening to what you had to say. Maybe your intentions were good, but everyone else around you maybe acted like your intentions were deceitful or negative or bad. And now it's almost like the people that are not meant to be in your life, pile number one, I get the feeling that it's like they're taking themselves out of the connection. They're taking themselves out of the equation. And it's almost like you guys are going to be gaining new friends. You'll be gaining new lovers, new people. It's like your life is going to start to become a little less hard for you. And I don't think that, this is something too I'm getting. Some of you guys maybe over-explain yourself, and this time around, you guys are not going to be over-explaining yourselves, because you're going to be around people that don't make you feel like you have to over-explain yourself, you know? Sometimes we're around people that they don't understand us, they don't get us, and then we try to explain ourselves hoping that they'll get it. But sometimes we're just not meant for people to understand us, right? Sometimes we're just not meant for people to get where we're coming from. Maybe it's just because they're not on that same wavelength, they're on that same level. So it's like you guys are going to find people that are on your level, pile number 1, and it's very exciting. So we have that 7 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you guys had to really defend yourself, right? You guys had a higher perspective, but it's almost like everybody looked down on you. It feels like, because normally when you see the 7 of Wands is normally somebody that's up on a ledge, right? And he has the wand and he's trying to beat down all the other wands for protection. But with this, it almost feels like it's coming above you. Like people maybe have attacked you. Maybe they've attacked your character. They could have slandered your name, right? There's things out there, pile number 1, where I feel like you guys maybe you guys just dealt with a lot of negativity and a lot of naysayers, and it's like you guys are finally stepping into your power. You're finally stepping into who you are as a person. Here with that Taurus card at the bottom of this deck, bombshell. It's like you guys are changing, you guys are evolving. Some of you guys are actually going to start picking up better habits for yourself, better things for you. Again, I just feel like pile number 1, you guys are no longer going to be associated or affiliated with negative people. It's like all of these negative challenges coming in is finally getting released, right? We have here at the very bottom of this deck here, Lily, spiritual love, right? There's something about you guys are going to have spiritual love. There's somebody coming in that's going to show you genuine love, unconditional love, whether this is a friendship, whether this is a pet, whether this is a lover, a family member, it doesn't matter. There's somebody that's coming into your guys' life that's going to show you, pile number 1, that you are worthy of love, that you're worthy of being seen, that you're worthy of being heard, instead of constantly being stifled or put down for how you think or for how you talk or for how you view yourself, right? So I'm going to pull another card here from the tea leaf, and just to close out the messages here. So any additional messages for you guys, any more positivity? Let's see what's kind of coming in for you guys, because pile number 1, I feel like this is long overdue. I think a lot of you guys have had a lot of issues with people, and you're reaching that resolution, you guys. And it's so interesting. It's like you guys hold the key to your own success. Maybe you relied on too many people. Maybe you thought you needed certain people to get to where you needed to go in life. And you're realizing all you need is yourself. It's like you guys are starting to get that empowerment. You guys are going after the things you want, pile number 1. And that's why the universe is waking up and like, whoa, okay, yeah, let me send you people your way that's going to help you, because you're helping yourself, right? So I feel like you guys are really on this path of really empowering yourself. And again, goosebumps. I'm getting a lot of goosebumps in this pile. It's like you guys are really starting to awaken to your higher potential of who you are, pile number 1. So very positive. So let's see what else positive things is coming in for my pile number 1s. Okay. So we have here older woman, dealings or a relationship with an older woman. So maybe you're dealing with somebody who's going to come into your life. Perhaps it's an older person or more mature. It doesn't have to be a woman necessarily, but maybe they embody a feminine energy that's going to give you the love and the nurturing and the support that perhaps you didn't receive in the past. There's definitely something here about something changing in your environment, and it feels like it's almost like people are getting released and new people are coming in. We also have here ring. A marriage will take place, either romantic or business. So see, guys, it's like, again, whether this is a business partner, a romance, or a friendship, there's like something is coming in that's going to make you feel like you two are kindred souls, that you two understand each other, that you get each other, and it's going to it's almost like this is like a pivotal point for you, pile number one, where you're going to get the support that you finally deserve and finally need to take you to the next level of your level up in your life, to take you to maybe a higher heights in your career, friendship. Again, just it feels like you guys are starting to stabilize yourself. We have here flag. Do not be tempted to lower your standards. Yeah, some of you guys maybe lowered your standards in the past when it comes to love, or lowered your standards with friends. Maybe you knew that this would, like, you almost compromised yourself a little too much at times, pile number one. And it's almost like now you're getting encouraged at this time to step into that power, right? In that conjunction here, the conjunction's all about your power and your strong bond between yourself. And it's almost like you're starting to develop more of a stronger bond to your higher self. So trust yourself, trust your standards. Know that your standards are never too high, because the people that are going to come into your life that actually do love and care for you will meet those standards, and the ones that don't will fall away, right? We don't need to lower ourselves to fit in. If you want to find people that are going to really truly accept you, you have to keep a standard. You have to keep yourself at a certain level and say, no, I'm not going to accept less than this. And when you can do that, pile number one, you're going to see things flourish like crazy. I just see like you guys are due for like blessings. You guys are due for new things to enter into your life. So don't be afraid. Whatever falls away, it was meant to. And as hard as it is for change, it's almost like you, pile number one, is ready for that change. You guys are going to receive the change that you deserve. So we have here gong, an exciting event. So an exciting event, like I said, is just going to come out of nowhere. You're going to meet people. You're going to go places. If you guys are invited to something, even if you don't feel like going, just go. Have fun. Get yourself out there. Present yourself more, because I feel like pile number one, opportunities are coming and knocking on your door, waiting for you to open the door and receive it. So be willing to do that. For some of you guys, this could have been starting and taking place in July, or maybe in the upcoming month of July. You guys are going to start really seeing things coming into your life. So a lot of you guys are in this pivotal point in your time, in your life, pile number one, where people and places and things might be falling out of your life, but new things are kind of coming in to replace the old. That's going to be a better, stronger, more amazing foundation for you guys. And at the bottom of the deck, we have throne, position of authority. Pile number one, you guys are going to be walking and talking in your purpose. You're going to be walking in who you are, right? You guys are going to finally be stepping into your throne, and it's like, don't allow anybody else, and that's how I'm getting with that, don't lower your standards. Don't let anybody take you off your throne. Don't let anybody tell you how to live your life, pile number one, because I feel like when you finally own up to what you truly want and desire, then will everything else fall into place for you, and then you will receive what it is that you truly are asking for and you truly deserve. So pile number one, that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this resonated for you. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number one. Thank you. Bye. All right, pile number two. For those of you who chose this purple Buddha or this tarot deck, this is your guys' reading for what is coming into your guys' life. So pile number two, what's coming into your guys' life at this time? What positives, maybe even what negatives? So if you guys can bear with me, I'm going to shuffle the cards real quick, and then I will be right back. If any of you guys are interested, check out my friend's shop, Light Minded. She has a whole new fall selection of candles, bath bombs, and soaps that are now currently available. All is made from handmade with love and care, as well as high quality ingredients. I highly recommend her products, you guys. They are wonderful, so check them out. The link will be listed down below in the description box. Thank you. All right, pile number 2. What's coming into your guys' life? Well, I just have to say, pile number 2, it almost feels like maybe it's a little, I almost kind of get the vibe that it's a little bit like pile number 1, but not really. It's two separate energies, but I just kind of get the feeling of you guys maybe have had a lot of ups and downs in relationships, and that's why I'm saying I can feel a little bit of that correlation there. But pile number 2, I feel like for a lot of you guys, there's almost something that you're not seeing at the moment, pile number 2, and I almost get the feeling you're not seeing it because you feel like you had I almost get this weird, like at one point, maybe you guys are not seeing, it's almost like you're not seeing something fully clearly here. And what I mean by this is because it's like you're holding on to something, pile number 2. But what you're holding on to is something that you perceived was a failure, or something that you perceived as, it's almost like you blame yourself, pile number 2. You blame yourself and you're too hard on yourself. And again, it's kind of similar to pile number 1, but it's a separate energy. It's definitely a different energy. But if you guys felt drawn to pile number 1, then go look at it. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, what you are not seeing is you guys are blaming yourself, or you're holding yourself hostage over something that has happened in the past. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've dealt with situations in the past that were not necessarily the best thing for you. I'm also just kind of getting here too that something that you perceived as a failure is something that is actually, it was just a lesson. You know, sometimes things are put into our life for us to learn so that we don't repeat it, or so that we can evolve. And I feel like something happened in your past that really made you almost see yourself in a negative light. And I get this feeling, pile number 2, that whatever this was that you perceived as a failure actually could have done a number on your self-esteem and on who you are as a person. This really did impact you on a soul level. This really did force you guys to get up and to actually make changes in your life. This was not something that I want to talk about in a light way, because it does feel like there's been definitely some devastation here. There's definitely been a foundation, a relationship, or a business partnership, something here that just crumbled and it didn't work. And no matter how hard you put your efforts and your feelings into it, it just felt like it never panned out the way you wanted it to. So pile number 2, you maybe have been caught up in your head about this failure, or caught up in your head about a particular situation, and it's like now you're going to start seeing things on a different level. What's coming in to your guys' existence, pile number 2, is a level up in your mindset. You were seeing things on one singular level, and again, keep in mind this is general, so whatever this is for you, it's going to be different for every person that's tuning in. But what I'm getting here, pile number 2, is there is something in your life that, because you beat yourself up over it, or because you didn't really see the full potential of a situation, you guys couldn't really tell what was meant for you, what was good for you, and maybe you didn't see it in the way that you needed to. So now it's almost like you guys are gaining a higher perspective about a particular situation. So it's almost like you're realizing that you could have only done so much. There's only so much you could have done in this situation. And I feel like if you did do it, I felt like you put a lot of effort and time into the situation. But it's like you guys are starting to level up in different aspects of your life. This feels like pile number 2. that you guys have did deep emotional healing and deep introspection because of this situation, or because of the devastation and the impact that I feel, because I keep getting this feeling that it was on a soul level, you guys. Like, whatever you guys been through, it was not easy. It was not something, like, I would definitely say that if you ever looked back in your life or summarized your life, this point or whatever this was a big highlight on your life of how it impacted you on a fundamental level. So pile number 2, what's happening, what's changing is your mindset, the way you perceive yourself and relationships on a whole, on an average. I think some of you guys in the past, you dealt with people that were backstabbers or people that didn't have your best interest at heart. Here with that 3 of Cups in the reverse at the bottom of the deck, there's definitely where you could have had a lot of betrayals, a lot of people lying to you, deceiving you, making you believe something. I'm also getting here, pile number 2, that you guys could have been subjugated to gaslighting, right? Where, and gaslighting is where people, for instance, the whole story of why it's even called gaslighting was this man was messing with his wife, and what he would do is he would slowly turn down the lighting in the room, so it would get darker and darker, and she would be like, is it getting darker in here? And he'd be like, no. And he would lie, but he would do things to make her go crazy and then tell her that she's being crazy, that that's not reality, but he was messing with her. So that's kind of what gaslighting is, and I feel like you could have had a group of friends or a family member. I'm also getting heavily with even lovers, like people that you were intimate with, lying to you and deceiving you and gaslighting you, telling you were wrong, telling you what you were doing wasn't right. Pile number 1's was the way that they communicated and the way that they self-expressed themselves was really pushed down. But with you guys, it's the way that you think, it's the way that you believe the world to be that could have been stomped on, that could have been told you were wrong to think that way, you shouldn't think that way, and that really impacted you on a soul level. We have Chiron here, and Chiron is that wounded healer. That is a deep, deep, deep wound in our psyche. And I feel like you guys have doubted yourself. You always second guessed yourself, and you always felt like you had to get the approval, or you had to have other people tell you that, yeah, this is what happened, or yeah, this is like you relied on other people's opinions or other people's belief systems to try and validate your own. And it's like that's been such a deep wound that I think is starting to become healed, pile number 2, because I feel like the self-doubt and this self-worry and you feeling like you're not enough and feeling like you can't do certain things, it's almost like it's starting to finally loosen up for you guys. It's starting to finally let go, and you are letting go. Things are not going to be as hard on you as it once did. It's like things are going to start making more sense for you. Things are going to start flowing more easily for you because you're not going to be second guessing yourself as much. So I feel like pile number 2, you could have had a lot of instances with people where they really made you feel bad for asking for certain things, or made you feel bad for putting yourself out there. Again, your opinions could have been put down a lot. The way, it's something about just the way you think. You think so differently than the average person that other people around you, they like, oh, well, this person's really out there. But you're not. It's like you guys, I almost get the feeling, pile number 2, you guys are ahead of your own time, right? Like if you think about it, all of the greats, they were ahead of their own time, but they were chastised, ridiculed, they were put down, they were second guessed all the time. It's almost like pile number 2, what I feel like you guys are in the process of is you have an idea, whether this is to start a business, whether this is to do something, And maybe you've had a lot of people put you down for it, but like deep down in your heart, you know that that's what's meant for you. You know that's what's best for you, or you know that it's lucrative. Trust yourself, right? Pile number 2, I feel like trust and not doubting yourself is what is starting to come into your life, right? Because you guys are learning to trust your own intuition more, you're learning to trust yourself, things are going to start working for you and things are going to start manifesting in your life. And it's almost like maybe in the past, pile number 2, maybe you used to try, like I said, to get validation or confirmation from other people. And now it's like you're getting it for yourself. You know, you guys are starting to say, you know what? This happened to me, and then that happened to me, and I can confirm that in myself, that I was right about this situation or about this thing. And it's like you guys aren't going to beat yourself up as much about it, because you guys are starting to kind of realize, it's almost like pile number 2, you guys are starting to defend yourself. You're starting to be there for yourself. You know, you're starting to be in your own corner and loving yourself. And I feel like this has been a difficult process for you. I feel like for this pile, you guys could have had major depression or have dealt with some kind of, I wouldn't even call it a mental disorder, but definitely had some mental disturbances, right? Maybe you had a hard time sleeping. Maybe you had a hard time thinking correctly sometimes, right? It's brain fog, or there's something here where it's almost like a sense of confusion, a sense of disillusionment that's starting to get lifted out of your life, and things are going to start making sense. It's almost like, again, maybe you're in your mind over and over and over and over again about a failure, about a certain situation. I feel like you could have people around you lying to you or telling you things like, oh, you're crazy or whatever. And now you're kind of coming to the conclusion that you're not, that maybe people were just self-projecting onto you. And it's like, now you're starting to see reality clearly. You're starting to see things in a clearer way that's going to really build you up, pile number 2. And we have here opposition, which is balance. You guys are starting to finally mirror back to yourself the validation that you needed all along, that you deserved all along. And I feel like because of that, all of a sudden you're going to notice people gravitating towards you, people wanting to actually get advice from you now. So pile number 2, you guys might have great advice, but nobody around you would listen. People maybe would make fun of you for your advice, or would think that you're just loony or out of this world. But then all of a sudden it's like, because you stopped giving advice to people, or because you just pulled back your energy and you started really focusing on yourself and working on yourself, it's almost like pile number 2, all of a sudden everyone wants your opinion. They want your advice. People are now interested in what you have to say, what you think. And it's because you guys are starting to finally heal some of these deep wounds that you have against self-belief and self-judgment about yourself, and about how you felt like maybe there's almost a sense of maybe you didn't value yourself as much, and so other people around you started to kind of behave like, well, why should I value you if you don't value yourself? And it was just really hard, because I felt like you guys have had maybe dealt a bad hand in life. And so there was a lot of struggle, or there was a lot of opposition in your life, that now it's almost like things are finally starting to balance itself out, and things are starting to kind of flow more easier for you. And so you guys are going to start to see things in a better way. We have here Leo, the lover. So a lot of you guys are going to be more self-expressive. Again, there's something about you guys, even maybe changing your appearance, pile number 2. So because you're going to start feeling better mentally, and because you're going to start noticing, it's almost like you're going to start validating yourself. You're going to start taking better care of yourself, right? Everything trickles in. Everything is connected. Everything is linked. So when you start to develop higher self-esteem, you're going to want to take care of your physical appearance more. You're going to want to start grooming yourself and caring for yourself. And pile number 2, I feel like what's coming in your life is the opportunity to do that. The opportunity to maybe get a new wardrobe, or the opportunity to, again, enhance something in your life. Not even just on the physical aspect, but as well as the mental plane, the way that you think, the way you feel. But I feel like you guys are glowing up in your appearance, and you guys are glowing up in your level up mentality. The way you think mentally is leveling up. You don't like to associate yourself with the people that you used to associate yourself with. I feel like pile number 2, you guys might have even withdrawn from people. Maybe perhaps you guys have even taken time out for yourselves to really evaluate yourself and be like, well, okay, what's going on with me? I think maybe pile number 2, you guys maybe used to blame yourself, like, I'm the problem. What's wrong with me? What do I need to do? And I think maybe that's why you went on this self-healing, self-love journey, is because maybe you thought, oh, I'm the problem. And of course, we always have a part to play in every situation, right? I'm not saying that you guys are, your hands are clean in every argument or every situation you have with people, but I feel like you're starting to realize that, not everything is your fault, pile number 2, right? Not everything is your fault. And I think that that's another thing that's going to really make you feel better, is realizing that it's almost like, okay, you can't blame the flower for not blossoming in shade. And when you replant the flower somewhere else, all of a sudden it's getting the sunshine, the water, the nurturance it needs. All of a sudden it can bloom, right, at its fullest potential. And I feel like pile number 2, you were just planted in the wrong spot. And you had a kind of a rough situation. And I think that now what's coming into your life is it's almost like you guys are going to be, I don't know if you guys are relocating like me. I just moved, right? Maybe you guys are moving, or maybe you guys are moving in a metaphorical sense. But there's something where pile number 2, you guys are moving. You guys are moving out of whatever this situation was that kept you stagnant, and you're no longer affiliating yourself with that anymore. And that is really what is causing a lot of these changes in your life. We have here the mind. Again, there is this sense of flexibility. Maybe you guys used to think in a more rigid way about yourself. This feels like it's more about yourself. This feels like you guys have had a self-love journey. This is what I'm getting from this pile. You guys are on a self-love journey. And maybe you guys had to, like I said, pull yourselves back from people, right? You guys have taken time out of your day, out of your life, to really reevaluate yourself and even what is more important to you as well. I feel like some of you guys, maybe you've had situations or things in your life that wasn't very positive, or just didn't give to you in the way that you needed or in the way that you wanted. And it's almost like now things are going to start really shifting and changing for you guys, and things are going to start really manifesting in your life, because you guys are starting to see yourself in a more higher vibration, in a higher way, in a better light. And that is what's going to kind of come into your life to really teach you what it is that you deserve, what it is that you want, and give you that sense of self, that sense of who you are. So it's almost like you guys are kind of opening up to a different version of yourself, right? We have here relationships, intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. The relationship, I feel like, with yourself is what's really changing pile number 2. Yes, it can mean external relationships, but I really feel like it means relationship with self. I think you guys have really worked on almost like building yourself back up from the ground up, not just in a physical way, but also, again, some kind of mental level up. You guys are leveling up mentally. You're not thinking the same way you used to think. You're not perceiving life the same way you perceive life. It's almost like you guys are starting to elevate the way that you perceive failure and the way that you perceive success. And that is what's going to really boost you so far in life, because it's like you guys are actually taking that time out again to see what's really right for you, to see what's really going on in your life. And it's like things are starting to really change and shift for you. We have here self-esteem. Again, confidence, self-love, self-worth, and pride. It's like you guys are going to start to have pride in who you are. And maybe in the past, like I said, you had people beating you down, telling you you're worthless, telling you all these negative things about you. And now it's like you're really saying, okay, yeah, that's their opinion, maybe they had a hard time in their childhood. It's almost like you guys are really starting to see things differently. You're not taking things as personally, pile number 2, and I feel like that's what's evolving. So really what's coming into your guys' life is a better sense of yourself, of a healthier sense of self. And what happens when we start to give ourselves love, start to take better care of our appearance, take better care of our mental health, our emotional health. Some of you guys are maybe even eating healthier too, which is improving you significantly. I feel like pile number 2, because you're starting to take better care of yourself, there's people that want to gravitate to you. There's people that want to, and you might even notice that now too, pile number 2. People wanting to get into your life, or people that want to be friends with you out of nowhere, when maybe in the past you struggled to make friends, or you struggled to date people, and all of a sudden you have all these romantic interests coming into your life, or you have all these people that are just showing up out of nowhere, and it's because you're radiating this sense of self-love, and it's like people want that. It's almost very contagious. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you guys are stepping kind of into that more Libra energy, where maybe you guys are a little more kinder to yourselves, but you're starting to gain that mental clarity in yourself of who you are and what you want. And it's like, it's almost like you guys have went through a huge healing transformation from the inside out, and it's starting to show. Some of you guys are also going to start enjoying the pleasures of life. Pile number 2, you guys are going to start indulging in things that maybe you once used to restrict yourself from, right? Maybe you guys are actually, like I said, taking better care of your physical appearance. Maybe you guys are enjoying food more. It's like you guys are starting to open up those senses, right? Your 5 senses are starting to become heightened. Your tastes, your smell, your hearing, it's like everything is starting to become more heightened to you. And I think it's because you guys are starting to ground yourself more into your physical body, which is going to really help you not only on a mental level and an intuitive level, but as well on that physical level, where you're going to start noticing like, ooh, I have indigestion when I eat this, so maybe I shouldn't. It's like you're starting to listen to yourself more, and it's going to just trickle in and just improve your life like more than you can even realize, pile number 2. I feel like you guys are just at that starting point where you're starting to see some of the positive upswings of past healing and past work that you did on yourself. And it's almost like now things are going to start really flowing in very quickly and very easily for you. So we have here claw. Be careful, do not take risks. Maybe in the past, pile number 2, you had a hard time taking risks. You were always afraid of the other shoe dropping. You're always afraid of other people's opinions and what they're going to think of you. Again, it's like releasing those beliefs of, oh my goodness, what is this person going to think if I did this? It's almost like you guys are going to say, you know what, I only live once. This person's going to judge me no matter what I do, whether I do it or not, I'm just going to do it. And it's like, that's what is going to start just changing your life significantly, pile number 2. So we have here quill, get back to the basics. Again, it's like you guys went back and you just rebuilt your foundation. You went back to the basics. You went back to healing your basic needs, right? You guys are listening to your body. You're listening to your needs again, and it's really improving you. We have here love. Again, self-love. And I feel like that's also bringing in a soulmate or bringing in somebody in your life that's going to truly love you for yourself, because you're starting to show love to yourself. We have dogs, getting together with friends. I feel like you guys are going to start making new friends, or your relationships with your friends are going to improve because of the way that you talk to yourself now. It's almost like pile number 2. Maybe you guys were too hard on yourselves, and now you guys are starting to have more self-love and more self-talk. And that's really going to, again, really make people want to gravitate to you. So you're going to notice that, pile number 2, that people want to gravitate towards you, or people want to get to know you more. And it's because, again, you guys are giving yourself the love and the respect that you deserve. We have here not unsuccessful plans. So like I said, something about failure in the past and you beating yourself up over it and finally learning to just let it go and resolve it. It's almost like that. It's like you're finally untying the knot that kept you stuck. It's almost like whatever this was could have even prevented you from even manifesting new love, right? Say if a failed relationship happened, you loosening that knot is what's going to bring somebody better for you than what that person was. Because you held on to it so tightly of this person, it kept you from not getting or receiving what you want or deserve or need. We have your gavel involved with the law. Some of you guys actually dealt with a lawsuit or dealing with divorce or dealing with some kind of a sense of loss, right? There's some kind of loss here. That's what I'm feeling with that gavel here, sense of loss. And pile number 1 had that as well. But this one, I just felt like this is like a sense of loss or a sense of injustice. Something didn't go in your favor. Something did not work out in the way you wanted it to. And then in the end, it really was a blessing in disguise. It's almost like hindsight is 2020. You guys are going to start finally seeing the positivity. So we have here indecisiveness, allowing your life to be ramble aimlessly. And that's what I feel like with that wheel. You guys went around and around and around in a situation that you guys did not even realize was preventing you and keeping you stuck from actually evolving and changing and growing. So at the bottom of the deck here, we have dark women, dealing or relationship with a woman with a dark complexion or hair. You could have been dealing with somebody with darker hair. Maybe they had more feminine energy, right? It doesn't have to be, but that is definitely a message coming through. Pile number 2, this is a very positive reading. My goodness, I don't think you guys realize the self-love and the energy that you pour into yourself. It's almost like everyone around you is going to start doing that for you. And it's going to be so nice to finally, instead of always giving to others, you instead turned around and gave it to yourself. And now it's like everyone wants to give to you, when in the past, no one would give to you, right? So let's pull a little bit extra additional messages for you guys just to close off this reading. Any more positive messages or anything else that's coming through here from my pile number 2s. But yeah, this is so positive. I don't think you guys realize, like I said, because you guys are just starting to see benefits of this, I don't think you really do realize the true blessing that's coming in because you guys cried, you worked through this, you did the work, pile number 2, and what's coming towards you, you deserve it. You deserve the best, all right? Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. You deserve the best. Guys, November. This is November right now. If you are tuning in to the reading that it's posted, right? November right now is your month, guys. This is your month. This is your time. So whatever's coming in, that's a positive thing. Embrace it, pile number 2, because you deserve it. We have here September. So something in September and November. These 2 things, again, I think that's where you start to elevate more and you started to actually kind of finally see yourself more. We have here kite, vacation. Some of you guys are actually going to go on vacation and you might not even realize it too, pile number 2. So for instance, even if this is just a short term, like, oh, I'm just going to go maybe an hour away drive, that's still kind of like a vacation. There's something going on in your guys' life, and I feel like it's going to be either September or November of this year or next year even, but I feel like it's this time, right? Like September, maybe there's some touch and goes, but like November, guys, this is your month. Things are coming in for you. Things are starting to finally flow for you. July, pile number 1 got July too. But something significant could have happened in July for you guys that could have really made you guys shift, right? So sometime in this summer, pile number, if you guys are where I am in the northern hemisphere, right? You guys, something's shifting for you. And it's almost like something happened to you in July that kind of, and July and September were major points for you. And I feel like in November, this month, some kind of blessing or something is going to just show up in your life. Grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling. So some of you guys are going to start noticing that situations are going to balance itself out. Things are going to work out for you guys, and things are not going to be as hard as they once were, pile number 2. So we have here harp, great happiness. Pile number 2. You guys are going to start to actually have great happiness because you guys let things go. right? And it's like that saying, that's like that Buddha thing, it's like, let that shit go. That's what you did. You let that shit go, pile number 2. And because of that, you leveled up mentally. You perceive things from a different perspective. What you once perceived as a failure, you now see as a blessing that you missed it. It's almost like, it's like, you always hear that cliche, it's like God's, it was like, God's protection was whatever you got rejected from, right? Rejection is just God's protection. That's what you guys literally did. You dodged a bullet. Whether that was in July, September, or even in November. Pile number 2, you guys are lucky. Especially with the grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are lucky. You guys dodged a bullet. So be grateful for that. Be happy for that. See it for what it is. You deserve better than whatever that situation was that you stayed in that mental prison over, right? Now it's time for great happiness. Now it's time to see things from a different perspective. You guys deserve great happiness, pile number 2. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So that's what I have for you guys and what's coming into your guys' life. You guys are leveling up on mentally, physically. You guys are starting to improve even your physical situation, pile number 2. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number 2. Thank you. Bye. All right, pile number 3. If you guys chose this beautiful selenite crystal or this tarot deck, this is going to be your guys' reading for what's coming into your guys' life, right? This can mean all kinds of different things. So what is it that's coming into your life? Is it physically? Is it metaphorically speaking? What is it? So bear with me here while I start to shuffle the deck for you guys. I will be right back. If any of you guys are interested, check out my friend's shop, Light Minded. She has a whole new fall selection of candles, bath bombs, and soaps that are now currently available. All is made from handmade with love and care, as well as high quality ingredients. I highly recommend her products, you guys. They are wonderful, so check them out. The link will be listed down below in the description box. Thank you. Okay. Pile number 3. What is coming into your guys' life? Oh, okay, pile number 3. Can I just say, when I was shuffling, the first thing that came to my mind was health. I don't know what it was. And then all of a sudden the 6th house came out and Mars. And I was like, okay, this all makes sense. So pile number 3. What's coming into your guys' life right now? I just kind of want to say something in your life has drastically came to an end, right? We are talking about, and this is something that you maybe did not want to let go of. I'm getting that for some of you guys, this could have been and keep in mind, again, this is a general reading. So for everybody, what you're holding on to could be all kinds of things. It could be a person, it could be a job, it can be a belief you have about yourself, anything. It really can be anything. Pile number 3, you held on to something, whether this is a physical thing or a spiritual thing, a mental thing, an emotional thing. There's something here you held on to that it almost felt like it was forced. You had no choice but to let this go. You had no choice but to release this. And because of that, pile number 3, this was maybe devastating for you in one way or another, because there was something about not having a choice, right? Not having the choice to, like, say if somebody breaks up with us, right? We can't choose whether they stay or go, even if we try our darnest to keep them around. If they don't want to stick around, if they don't want to fight for a connection, it's like you have no choice, right? There's something about you, pile number 3, where you had to let go of something that you really, really, really didn't want to let go of. And this felt like a major struggle. This felt like something that you struggled with on an internal level as well. This felt like something maybe you lost on a physical level, but you struggled with it internally for such a long time. This was not an easy thing for you to lose. And this really made you guys kind of feel like it was just really hard. I don't know how to describe it besides feeling like, you maybe even try to physically make something work out, or you try to it's almost like you had to let something go in order for you to gain something new. But whatever this was that you had to let go of, it could have been a form of some kind of codependency, pile number 3, because it feels like there was some kind of intoxicating feeling to this. Because it does feel like this took you guys a really long time, and it was really hard for you guys to let this go. It was really hard for you guys to embrace it. There's definitely something here of having to embrace letting something go, having to acknowledge something and allow it to be what it is and let it go. So I feel like pile number 3, whatever this was, it was actually a good thing for you. It really was a good thing for you, but your heart ached. This was something that really forced you to move. The Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight in the deck. This took you a while to release this. And I feel like even if say, for instance, it got like somebody left you really quickly, right? Say this is a connection and they left you. It took you years, even maybe, or months to start moving in a different direction. Like you guys felt, and I feel it in my heart chakra. This is a deep feeling of sadness and remorse, and feeling like it's almost, like when we get broken up with somebody, or we break up and we're like, I'll never love again, or I'll be single forever. It feels like that. It felt like this is never gonna happen for me. This is never gonna happen. It's almost as though whatever left your life, you had to metaphorically allow whatever you believed, like some kind of idea or some kind of understanding. It's like you had to let that die with whatever was also leaving. Does that make sense? So say, for instance, you were in a connection with somebody and you thought this was the one you were going to marry, you were going to have kids with, then they left, and it's almost like you had to mourn that person leaving, but you also had to mourn the idea of what life would have been like. And so there was this really hard tug of war between yourself. And I feel like pile number 3, things are going to start balancing itself back out for you again. But it's almost as though pile number 3, things are going to start kind of balancing out for you in a way that is going to give you what you need, the nurturing that you need, right? So whatever this was that you felt like you had to have, that this was so important that you needed to have, you're going to realize that it didn't make you, right? It's not like you lost. You didn't truly lose anything. Even though it felt that way, you didn't really lose anything from this situation. And pile number 3, I feel like whatever this thing is that ended in your life, I almost get the sense that it's going to be replaced very quickly, or at least something else is going to take its position or its place. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's in that state of, okay, well, it's like, I hate this. This hurts me. And grief can do a lot to the human body. It really can. It can cause depression. It can cause a lot of different types of mental disorders. It can cause respiratory issues. It can cause all kinds of wear and tear on your body, because that's a lot of stress, a lot of sadness that needs to be processed. And grief is like an overwhelming emotion. And grief has stages, you guys. It's a very complex emotion. And I feel like pile number 3, you guys had to grieve something. You had to let something go. You had to allow it to shed itself out of your life. And it was a painful process. It wasn't something that was fun, and it wasn't something that you would ever say would be easy. But that's what is metamorphosizing you into something much, much greater. Your strength, what I'm getting, pile number 3, is your resilience and your strength is because of what you went through. It's almost making you 10 times stronger and even more like better. You're becoming a better version of yourself, pile number 3, because you're releasing and letting go of things that are not serving you, right? So we have here Mars, action. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to start taking more action in your life. Maybe you guys used to be the person that would sit and have like a bystander, right? You're like the bystander of your own life. Maybe you would watch other people live their life and maybe you allowed life to pass you by. But now it's almost like after you get out of this period of grief or after you get out of this period of loss, all of a sudden you're going to start taking more action. You're going to start feeling better. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my dog. He's sitting next to me and he's sleeping. I don't know what he's dreaming of, but it seems intense. But your action, you guys are gonna start taking more action. Maybe you guys were afraid to take action. Maybe you guys were afraid to take risks, and now it's like everything's coming together. Everything is coming into the place that it needs to. And I feel like pile number 3, it's like this is a long time coming, you know? With that sun, with the being card, what I'm getting is, you know, when we think of astrology, your sun sign is it's not just like who you are or anything. It's like your sun is also kind of like the identity that you have around you, around how other people will perceive you in a lot of ways. And I feel like pile number 3, it's almost like people are gonna see you differently too. Maybe you guys, like I said, I wouldn't say you were timid, but I would say you kind of were, pile number 3. Maybe you like had a hard time taking certain risks or taking certain actions. But after, it's almost like after losing certain things, you're like, what do I have to lose? Pile number 3, I think you guys literally hit rock bottom. You hit rock bottom, pile number 3. You guys went through it. You hit the hardest point of your life, or one of the harder points of your life. And you had to build yourself back up. You had to get back up. And some people thought maybe you were never going to get back up. Some people were like, oh, pile number 3 is done for. This situation killed pile number 3. But you guys proved to people how strong you are, pile number 3. You got back up, you brushed yourself off, and you were like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let this take over me. No, I'm not going to allow this to happen. Like, you guys are strong, pile number 3. Oh my goodness. Because I don't know what it is that happened in your life, but whatever was ripped away from you, whatever this was that you had no choice in, really forced you guys to mature. It really forced you guys to grow up. It really forced you guys to see the harsh realities sometimes that life can give us. Like sometimes we get caught up in a fantasy world and then all of a sudden it's like somebody rips that out from under us, right? And the next thing you know, you fall flat on your face and you're like, what happened? It's like you maybe were caught up in some kind of illusion about something and all of a sudden it's like, boom, everything gets enlightened for you. And all of a sudden you're really waking up and realizing, you know, and it's almost like you don't like where pile number 3, you don't really like where you're at. So you're getting up and you're changing that. And it's like, people are noticing that. You're kind of an inspiration to people right now at this time, pile number 3. So that's what's coming in. You are like an inspiration to others. What's coming in your life is change, actual tangible change, pile number 3. You guys might be moving or changing jobs. You guys are starting to change the way you look, the way you talk, like whatever it is in your guys' life, because pile number 3, what I'm getting is for every one of you, it's going to be a little different, but you're making physical changes in your environment. We have here semi-sextile, allowing. You guys are starting to finally gain clarity in something. You guys are finally starting to break cycles. You're growing, pile number 3. You're really, really growing. And I feel like with that semi-sextile, you guys are going to start getting little weird gifts. So say, for instance, pile number 3, your luck is going to be changing, like significantly. Maybe you guys came across bad luck for a while, right? Maybe at one point, pile number 3, you might have thought you were cursed. You're like, oh my gosh, why is everything bad happening to me? And all of a sudden, pile number 3, you'll be like walking down the street and you'll find like $50. And you're like, oh, awesome, I got $50. Next thing you know, you go to the store and somebody's like, or something happens and they're like, hey, do you want this free thing? And you're like, yeah, I'll have that. It's almost like things are gonna randomly happen for you. And it just feels like random luck, right? And it's only because you guys are taking action. You guys are actually getting up and you're walking out. For instance, if you guys are like me, right? And you're shut-ins and you don't ever leave your house, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go out for a walk, or I'm gonna go do this today. And you start getting up and taking physical action. All of a sudden, it's like everything falls in your lap, pile number 3, because you're taking the freaking action. And I'm so excited for this pile because I felt this stagnancy in your life, pile number 3, that maybe clouded you for such a long time. And all of a sudden, it's like, now you're like the star of your own show. You're not allowing people to use you anymore. You're not allowing people to walk all over you anymore. It's like you guys are putting your foot down and you guys are taking physical action, and it's starting to show. And people are becoming very impressed by you, pile number 3. I think your guys' physical appearance, pile number 3, pile number 3, you guys are getting hotter, whether you believe it or not. And see, here's the thing. Sometimes the way we perceive ourselves is not reality, right? We look in the mirror and we like pick on ourselves. This isn't right. That's not right. But another person will come across you and be like, oh my gosh, you're like drop dead gorgeous, or you're like the hottest person on the planet. But you're like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Look at this or look at that. It's like pile number 3. You're very, very attractive right now. And I feel like I need to say it like that because maybe you guys are kind of oblivious to your surroundings a little bit. Like, for instance, maybe you guys are walking around, you're at the store, and you won't even notice like 90% of the people staring at you. And maybe you'll think, oh, they're looking behind me, or, maybe they just looked at me for 2 seconds and that's it. Like, maybe you'll look up and notice someone looking at you, but you don't think 2 things about it. But that person is like anxious because they're like, oh, this person's so hot. And you know what I mean? Like, pile number 3. You guys have a very, very good sex appeal right now, especially with that Mars and then the semi-sextile. It's like something about you getting up, taking action, maybe putting yourself together, right? Maybe you guys are doing something different with your hair or your makeup, or maybe you guys are shaving, or you're doing something, pile number 3, that is like extremely attractive in general. Like you're almost embodying some kind of, it's like this sex appeal, you guys are you're very sexually attractive at this time. So just be aware of that, please. Right? I want to make that very clear because I feel like you guys are not aware of like the potential and the options that you have in a romantic sense. So we have here the 6th house. Guys, I feel like your health is starting to improve. Your work environment is gonna improve because you guys are actually getting out of your own head and you're getting out of your own mind, your own thoughts. Maybe you're getting out of these stuck, stagnant emotions. I feel like pile number 3, do not take this negatively, right? Because we all do it. But maybe at one point you wallowed in your own misery, right? You were sad. You were like, woe is me. Now you're going to be in a better position, and it's like things are coming to you. I'm also getting to that some of you guys are actually developing new skills. Like if you are reading more, or say you guys are just learning new things, there's something about whatever it is that you are developing, your skills are improving. It's improving. And because your skills are improving, it's going to give you better opportunities, and it's going to give you better options too. Like, I don't think you guys realize how good your options are going to get, pile number 3. That's what's coming in. You're getting better options in love. You're getting better options in career. You're getting better options in things in general, like whatever. And I want you guys to know this right now. Literally, your destiny, pile number 3, is in your own hands, okay? You guys, wherever you take physical action in, you're going to be successful in it. Okay, you're going to be successful in it. I don't care how many people are listening right now and is naysaying it. If you put your mind to it, my goodness, pile number 3, no one can stop you, because you have this internal strength and this resilience about you because of choices or things being taken from you prematurely or when you weren't ready, and it's like it evolved you to become this strong character that everyone wants. So pile number 3, yeah, you guys are doing pretty good for yourself, okay? And if you don't feel that, it's gonna happen for you, right? Because sometimes we click on videos and we'll listen to somebody talk and we'll be like, oh, that doesn't really resonate, or oh, that's not really happening. But like, what's to say that that's just not going, that's not your future? You know what I mean? Maybe this is just a preview of what's going on in the future. Does that make sense? So some of you guys, maybe things are not really changing too much in your life at the moment, but you taking these little baby steps and these little actions, oh my goodness, it's like that compound effect. Pile number 3, I don't think I can really put into words, or I don't think I can really drive it home to you about how successful you're going to be in your life, because you guys have gone through so many setbacks, so many things. And for some of you with that second house, you might have lost assets, right? You might have lost certain things. You might have lost finances, luxuries, right? Pile number 3, you guys are going to start gaining material wealth again. You guys are going to start gaining more possessions. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys are building your credit. I don't know if you guys are working on your security right now, pile number 3, but you guys are going to start gaining more stability and more security in your future. And what you are doing right now is on that path to gaining that security. Again, you guys are very physically attractive at this point in time, and you're very potent. Your energy is extremely potent. It's really starting to draw other people to you, all right? You guys are really, really, really starting to wake people up. You guys have this boss energy here with that Capricorn. Boss energy. You guys are walking the way you guys even walk now. Maybe in the past you guys used to have your head down, maybe you would kind of hunch over. Now it's almost like your posture is changing, right? You're standing taller, you're sitting up more, maybe you're looking people in the eye more. There's something about your mannerisms and the way that you move that's changing, and you might not even be aware of it because it's like subtle things. Because you're changing on such a deeper level, pile number 3, and the actions that you're taking, it's almost like things are changing for you to the point where you guys are just acting different, you're appearing different. And maybe right now, with that King of Swords in the reverse, maybe right now you're not really maybe you don't really know exactly where you're going in your life. Maybe you don't really know exactly what you want in your life, but it's like things are going to start coming more clear to you. Things are going to start becoming more clear to you, pile number 3. And when it does, you're going to just take off, dude. You're going to take off. So we have your pleasure. A lot of you guys, enjoy yourselves. Go out, have fun, go with friends, go do things. Indulge in things that bring you joy, because that's going to only raise your vibration, and that's only going to make you want to go out and do more things and take more action. So when you go out, say for instance, pile number 3, you know, because you guys are in that boss energy, maybe you have to do things you don't want to do, right? So when you do the things you don't want to have to do, but say, oh, I have to do it anyway, because how else am I going to gain my security? I got to go to work, or I got to go do this, I got to do that. But even when you got to do that stuff, take a second out of your day to enjoy the things that you can control, the things that you can do, right? Give yourself a little more pleasure in your life. And I feel like that's also what's coming into your guys' life is, again, more options, but things that are going, like, for instance, pile number 3, I guess how I want to say this is there's going to be options or things that come into your life that are going to bring you pleasure that you never thought would. Maybe you met somebody and you're like, I don't really know if I like this person, or I don't really think they're not my type. Next thing you know, you're in love with this person. This person's amazing and they bring you so much joy. So just be aware that what's coming into your guys' existence could have potential there. There are things that could actually bring you a lot more pleasure in your life. And I feel like that's things that are kind of coming in for you guys. We have here self-expression. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be more assertive with how you communicate with people, especially again with that boss energy. And it's going to just make people love you even more. You guys, the way that you guys are moving, talking, again, there's just, I feel like you guys just are attracting a lot of people to you right now, pile number 3, and I just don't think you guys are that aware of it, because maybe you guys are just so focused on, it's almost like you guys have blinders on, right? You guys have blinders on, you guys are like focused on one thing in particular, and maybe you're not realizing all the people that are around you right now that are attracted to you, or all the people that want to be friends with you, right? We also have here gut instincts. A lot of you guys are starting to finally trust yourself. You're starting to finally trust that intuition, that little voice in the back of your head. There's a sense of knowing that you have, pile number 3, and it's like follow your gut instinct, especially when it comes to taking certain actions. Follow that, trust that, because it's going to really guide you where you need to be so that you can gain more blessings. So we have here February. I don't know if, say, a major event, like maybe you having to let something go, there's something about February. Now this could be about a past event. For some of you guys, this could just be that something good's gonna happen to you in this upcoming February, right? In the next year. But I get for some of you guys, it's almost like there's something in the month of February that almost forced you guys to start taking more initiative in your life, or to start kind of shifting the way you view things. We have here Spear, heartache over what you no longer have. What was I saying? Pile number 3. Oh my goodness. The grief, the heartache, the pain, the things that you've lost. It's like it only made you stronger. It only made you more attractive. It only made you better in the long run. It really did. So we have here scissors, disappointment in some affair. Exactly. You guys had to cut something out of your life. You had to let someone go, and that was so hard for you guys. But that's also what's really making you guys thrive and grow as a person. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, these are the things that people are also aware of. I think you've been around people that watch you and they know what you've gone through, and they're like, ooh, pile number 3 went through this thing or went through that thing. And it's almost like you guys are really starting to really grow and evaluate yourself. We have here wishbone, a wish is granted. Pile number 3, there is something that is coming into your guys' life, and this is what I'm getting from the wishbone, okay? Maybe in the past you asked for something a long time ago and you never got it, and maybe you forgot about it even, because I almost get with that wishbone, it's a wish that's getting granted that you forgot about, right? Something's coming in now, something that maybe you let go of, and it's almost like, oh, I really, say for instance, oh, I really wish that I could get this type of job, and then maybe you never were able, maybe you didn't have the qualifications, and all of a sudden now it's like randomly, because you've been taking more action, you've been doing more things, putting yourself out there, all of a sudden it's like somebody's gonna help you get that position. You know what I mean? Like anything could happen. Pile number 3, anything is possible. That's what I want to say to you. Anything is possible. And that's what I'm feeling right now. We have here skull. Hidden secrets can harm you. So some of you guys, maybe you've had people hiding things from you. And maybe that's what that whole having to cut somebody off so abruptly kind of a thing. There was something that, like I said, got ripped out from under you, something that you felt was taken from you. Maybe people actually withheld things from you, and it caused a lot of damage. It caused a lot of harm in your life. And it's almost like you're realizing you're being more discerning about people too. You're realizing, because pile number 3, you guys have a lot of options in love. You have a lot of options in friendships. You just have a lot of options with people. And I feel like because you've gone through really difficult situations with other people, you're much wiser now. So you're using your discernment about people. And that's why I feel like is making you even more attractive with that gut instinct. You're trusting yourself more about who you let into your inner circle or who you date. So we have here horse, short journey. Some of you guys, you might even go on a short trip, which is going to be really fun, right? Others of you guys, it's almost like you had to do a little detour with that short trip. You had to do a little journey around whatever this disappointment was in order for you to become bigger, in order for you to become better and greater, right? So we have here pin, new job and career, pile number 3. What was I saying? Because I was saying something about maybe, with that 6th house, your career is going to improve or you're going to get a new job, right? I was saying that. You guys, you're going to get more money. Whatever this is, you guys are going to get a new job or you're going to get like a promotion or something. Something's coming up for you guys. I'm so excited for you guys. Something's coming in your guys' life that's going to just like amplify your life. It's going to make your living situation better, make your physical like situation just better in general. This feels like really a lot of physical changes happening in your life, right? It's just like a sigh of relief that some of the hardships are finally over, pile number 3. So we have that crown chakra. You guys pay attention to the downloads you're receiving at this time. Pay attention to your intuition and thoughts that come up, because whatever is coming up right now, it's like you need to take action on things that you feel strongly about. Take those actions because you're not going to regret it, pile number 3. We also have here romance, celebration, and party with the fan. You guys are going to have a lot to celebrate. You guys are going to have a lot to celebrate. And I feel like love is in the air for you, pile number 3. You guys have so many options in love. You have so many options in career. Like, things are going to improve for you guys significantly. So I'm going to pull another card here from the tea leaf. Just going to pull another deck real quick. So what else is happening for you guys? What other positive things are coming in to your guys' life right now? Just for closing messages, right? What positive things are coming into my pile 3's life? This is exciting, pile number 3, because I feel like a lot of you guys are finally getting out of your own way. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are finally getting out of your own way. And because of that, you guys are going to be so much happier. I feel like you guys maybe had a lot of self-sabotaging tendencies. And now things are going to start, like, it's almost like you're not going to be sabotaging yourself as much. Things are going to start flowing in easier for you guys. So what other positive changes are coming in for my pile number 3s? Okay. So we have here goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. What was I saying? Oh, guys, I'm so excited for you guys. Seriously, growth is happening in your life. All right, material wealth is increasing. You guys are going to get a promotion, or you're going to get a better job, or it's almost like you guys maybe even become your own boss even, right? There's something here, pile number 3, where it's like things are finally looking up for you guys. It's just keep taking the steps. You guys are on the right path. Trust yourself, right? Keep doing what you're doing. Even if the actions that you're taking is not reaping the rewards right now, it's going to in the future. So keep going at it. We have here September. Maybe something major happened to you guys in September. We also have here Axe, forces working against you. In the past, you guys have had people maybe working against you, and it's almost like now, it's like all of these roadblocks are finally starting to change, and things are finally going to shift into your life. We have here staff. You will be taken care of you will be taken care of in difficult times, right? You guys have gone through difficult times, pile number 3, and that is finally lifting out of your life. I'm so excited for you guys. Literally, this gave me like so much energy to just read this card for you guys. I'm so excited. We have woman, dealing or relationship with a woman. So maybe there's something of significance about a woman in your life or a feminine energy in your life that's going to also bring you guys maybe better opportunities, better things in your life. We also have here door, opportunities are waiting for you. Pile number 3, and then of course, icing on the cake, 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. Pile number 3, good things are happening for you guys. I'm so excited for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope that this resonates for you and helps you out. Have a great and wonderful day, my beautiful pile number 3s. Thank you. Bye.